Republicans are expecting to clinch 4 more seats in Florida after the state legislature passed a new congressional map this week, boosting GOP chances ahead of the midterms. The move comes just hours after the Supreme Court struck down parts of the Voting Rights Act in Louisiana, escalating the standoff between Democrats and Republicans as several states now look to redraw their lines.
They try to do everything that they can to eliminate and erase our journey. But guess what, extremists? We're still here. That's right. And we're not going anywhere.
Last week, he threatened Florida and said that if somehow we went through with a map that, we were going to have hell to pay, he was going to come down and we were going to pay the price somehow. Those threats do not work on me. And so we released the map on Monday. The legislature passed it on Wednesday, and that is that.
Joining me now is Nikki Fried, lawyer and chair of the Florida Democratic Party. So is that now? I'm curious your reaction to the escalating feud between House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, because despite Jeffries' promise of maximum warfare against Republican redistricting efforts, and given its passage in the Florida House and Senate, can Democrats do anything to stop it from taking effect?
Well, thanks for having me on, Alex. And no, that is not that. The reality is that people don't understand across the entire country is that Florida in 2010 passed what we call the Fair Districts Amendment, which mandates that the Florida legislature and the governor cannot draw maps on partisan lines. And so already here in the state of Florida, we have been overperforming the national average by 17 points to the left, flipping 29 seats throughout the entire state from 25 to in 2025 and 2026. And we were already positioning ourselves to not only return all 8 of our members of our Democratic congressional delegation, but also flipping a tremendous amount of seats. And as you see on that map that you're showing right now, that is the map that Ron DeSantis went on to Fox News the day before the actual start of the special session, color-coded map, red and blue, talking about voter registration. This is a direct violation of the Florida Constitution. So there will be lawsuits filed, and there is still an attempt at the Florida Supreme Court to make sure that we uphold the Fair Districts Amendment that the people of the state of Florida passed by almost 70% in 2010.
Are you confident that a court battle will keep this from being implemented?
Look, as you indicated, I'm an attorney practicing law for almost 25 years, and I always want to think that the justice system upholds fairness and law and order. But unfortunately, the Supreme Court, 6 of the justices have been appointed by Ron DeSantis. The 7th was appointed by a previous Republican governor. So the court is definitely stacked against us. But unfortunately for Ron DeSantis and the Republican Party, the law is the law, and the Constitution in the state of Florida is very clear that district lines cannot be drawn on partisan manners. Even if these maps uphold, the fact of the matter is they water down all of their red districts. We have incredible candidates that are running up and down our state, all the way from Congressional District 1 all the way down to 28. Some are veterans, first responders, Teach for America alumni, teachers, and just everyday Floridians that are tired of the chaos in Washington, D.C. They're tired of the fact that just like every other Floridian, they can't afford their groceries. They can't afford their rent. They can't afford their property insurance, utility bills, and everything that goes on here in the state of Florida.
So doing the numbers here, Republicans are looking at a potential gain 4 seats, moving to a 24-4 majority despite this map redraw. It could put several Republican seats at risk because GOP gerrymandering spread Republicans too thin across the state.
Yep, absolutely. And what we have seen is that districts that were, in fact, R plus 34 are now R plus 11, R plus 12. And again, since we've been overperforming the national average and movement left at 17 points, we flipped the city of Miami, we flipped Mar-a-Lago, Tampa Bay area, Escambia County for the first time in almost 30, 40 years. So the fact of the matter is people in the state of Florida, Democrats, Republicans, and independents don't like this, that even the polling today shows overwhelming support for nonpartisan maps and overwhelming support to vote out any of these legislators that voted for these maps. So we are pretty confident that the work that's been happening on the ground here in the state of Florida, the overhand played by the Republicans and by Ron DeSantis, who is gleeful today that he intentionally violated the Florida Constitution. This is going to have a reckoning in November. We are ready. We are organized on the ground, and we're going to make them pay for this.
We're going to be watching closely, my friend. Good to see you, Nikki Fried. Thank you.